This is the S&P 500 one-day reading for July 20th, 2023. It's currently June 2nd, 2023, 2:09 p.m. Eastern Time. And the shuffle file for the July 20th reading was created on May 8th, 2023 at 1:02 p.m. Eastern Time. That's this file right here. So the overall theme and behavior for the day, we have out of a decline, there's a big move from the bottom of a range to the top of a range. And it looks like probably that big move's taking place early in the day. Behavior around the highest high, we have a period of sideways rotation and a sharp drop that'll stand out in that period of sideways rotation. Behavior around the lowest low, rally out of the low along a diagonal trend line, breaking through horizontal resistance to meet a second resistance before pulling back to somewhere between those two price levels. I'm advised to trade around a decision or an agreement between two leaders, possibly like a holding pattern pop and drop kind of situation going on. Again, that would probably be first thing in the morning. And then it looks like volume's pretty mixed throughout the day. Probably with like a lower open, another lower open the following morning. And that's how we end up in a lowest low, it looks like, the morning of the 21st. So in the pre-market, there's an important price level on at least a 1 month scale that's highlighted as resistance. And it looks like we declined pretty hard into the open, where there's a notable reversal and a big move out of a decline from the bottom of a range all the way to the top of a range there in like the first, like out of the open in the first half hour. And it looks like that takes us to a peak or crest. Wow, it's pretty wild here, guys. So we go from let me back up. We go from an important price level there in the pre-market. We decline into the open. There's a big move to a peak or crest at the open, and then a reversal off of that. So we go from the bottom of a range to the top of a range to meet a crest or peak or high for the day, and then another decline off of that there in the first half hour. And then again, between roughly 10 and 11, we see both a high and a low within close time proximity to each other. There's an important resistance level that's highlighted and a lot of price change there surrounding that resistance level. It probably go from the high to the low again, and then we rally out of the low through the 11 to 12 o'clock hour into a peak or crest and failed attempt to break through key resistance at a high that takes place probably around 115, 120. And that peak or crest will form with a move higher through resistance, followed by a breakdown through that same price level shortly thereafter, with a sharp drop taking us into a low at the end of the day and a trade opportunity to cash out at the end of the day there. Out of that low, there's in that last hour, out of that low in that last hour, there's a bullish price swing and an important support level on a multi-day scale that's highlighted at the close. Move to the upside in the post-market out of oversold territory. So pretty mixed day, and it looks like the most prominent move to the upside is probably there first thing in the morning, but there's a lot of price swinging going on, a lot of price swinging throughout July, I'll say that. A lot of wild stuff going on. In any case, we probably open... I think we probably open lower. Usually the Knight of Swords is a higher open, but I think probably what happens is we might open higher in the pre-market, and then the rally in the pre-market ends, and there's a sharp decline into the open through multiple support levels, taking us to a low here around the open or around 10 o'clock, somewhere between somewhere in the first hour and a half or so. All right, guys, that's the S&P 500 for July 20th, 2023. Let me know what you think by hitting that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. As always, make sure to follow that rule of karma. You do so here on our resources tab. 5% of the profits from the information on this channel should be donated forward to one of these charities, guaranteeing that you have abundance mentality. 5% of the profits should be donated back to the channel here at one of these links, and that guarantees gratitude mindset. You need both of those to manifest properly. Make sure to spend that money out of love and keep your conscience clear. You do that, my friend, follow all those rules, the universe is going to send it back to you tenfold through this channel. That's the rule of karma. Blessings to all my angel investors following those rules, and I'll see you guys on the next one.